Hi, and welcome to another episode of Queer, Black and Awkward. My name's Orion, and you are now listening to tuning into space. I don't know what was that intro, but thank you for listening. And you can always catch the podcast on everywhere you listen to podcasts now. So Google, YouTube, Apple, wherever. Have fun. So on today's episode, I have with me
Soft Honey or Chuck.
Introduce yourself.
I was like, just my name. So Soft Honey would be my performance name or my stage name.
Mhm.
I do spoken word poetry. And then in my regular life, my resume, my 9 to 5, I go by Chuck and identify as a Toronto born queer creative. I use they, them pronouns. And yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Okay.
Is that enough? Did you?
Yeah, no. You don't have to give your whole social
CV.
security number, your credit score. Nah, it's not that kind of show. So before I go into it, I have this segment where I ask my guests what's their mood and color. So I'll go first. My mood is chill, which is my constant mood, but
Okay.
I'll go with that. And my color is gray because it's raining, and I saw snow.
We rebuked that, and we're saying that we didn't see snow because too early.
So what's your mood and color?
I would say I'm feeling pretty silly. I had a good breakfast, and whenever I eat a good breakfast, then I'm just full of energy. And
What did you eat?
I had, I guess it was lunch for breakfast. I had
brunch.
Yeah, thank you. I had lentil soup, this Egyptian lentil soup.
Mm-hmm.
But there was this amazing cheese biscuit, and I wish there was 10 cheese biscuits. But there
Oh,
was
that
one.
sounds so good.
Yeah.
Anything that has to do with biscuits.
It was
Yeah.
it was stuffed cheese biscuit.
Ooh.
Oh, and then coffee. And it was amazing.
Oh man,
So
you're
maybe
making me hungry.
I'll be orange or yellow because my favorite color anyway is mustard yellow, and it reminds me of cheese that I ate today. So
Okay.
that would be my color and my mood.
Nice. Okay. So society has this expectation that people who identify as non-binary need to look androgynous. Do you agree?
No, I would say from how I'm dressed. I think it depends. I think society does feel that way, although I do see a lot of people maybe pushing those boundaries a lot lately. But yeah, I think, it's easy to put things into boxes. That's how we work, right? I think that's why it is so hard to come out as queer or non-binary or trans or all those type of things, because they want to put you in a box. So I think it's easier to be oh, okay, if you're non-binary, then you should look androgynous, and then now we can understand you a bit more.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely see that maybe around folks who don't know much about a queerness or transness or non-binary and all that kind of stuff, gender non-conforming stuff, then yeah, they're you don't look like this, so that's weird.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't look like that, so I think it depends. And if my hair is in braids, then I might not look androgynous because my hair is longer,
Yeah.
I think it's Lord of the Rings vibes, where all the men there, everyone there has long hair and is beautiful. Hello, I'm an elf. But I think that definitely people, they're more used to things that they can identify, which is androgyny.
Very true. So how did you come to terms with the fact that there's not one specific way to look, non-binary or gender fluid?
I think it probably took me a really long time to get to the point where I identified as non-binary, and before then, I think the way I expressed myself was always very fluid. I just didn't have the right terminology for it yet.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think that as I was out more in the queer community and I found people that were like me or like-minded or could at least open my eyes to some different things, then I realized where my path was leading me kind of, and I don't think it just sprung up on me all at once. I think it just kind of gradually happened, and then I eventually actually found the words to describe how I felt, as opposed to just being I don't know, it's a thing, and I guess they don't know how to talk about it, I'll just squish it down. I think then I learned how to actually speak about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How long would you say it took you to get to this point?
I think I've been like out as non-binary and when like in my name changed and all that type of stuff for about a year, but I've been out as queer for probably about like 5 years now. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it took me a while. I think again I didn't have the terminology. I think um, obviously sexual orientation and gender identity is very different, but I think even like 5 years ago, if I liked women and men, I'd be like, oh, I must be bisexual. Like there was not a lot of talk about,
Mm-hmm.
or I wouldn't feel comfortable saying I'm gay because I'm like, what does that mean? Do I just like women now? Like there wasn't those terms. So I think, or at least I wasn't privy to them. So I think it's taken me probably about like 5 years to get to the point now where I'm like a lot more comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And the past year, just like with everything that I've learned, the people I've been hanging out with, and communities that I've been involved with, probably that's when I was non-binary.
Okay. And do you feel like your style evolved along the way?
Yeah, I feel like I love clothes, and I feel like we talk about that sometimes.
Yeah.
And yeah, I love clothes. And I think I've always like when I was younger, on national, I think it was National Coming Out Day, I posted a photo of myself, and I was wearing like DC like skater shoes and like I don't know like capri camo like these like horrible and like a polo shirt and like a backpack and I looked very like I just looked like a tomboy like that was what like I looked like a tomboy
Mm-hmm.
back then. But that's what I felt the most comfortable. Like I think I was going to a Catholic school and everyone was wearing kilts and I was like I'm not wearing a kilt so like this is what I'm wearing. Like I'm wearing a polo shirt and like skater shoes and this is what I'm wearing.
Did you ever try to pimp your Catholic
My
school uniform?
I don't know if I ever tried to pimp it, but I just was very much like I'm not like they're like dresses and skirts and I was like we will be going into the trouser section now like I'm not doing that. But I remember I had like pleated trousers. Back then it wasn't cool. Like it wasn't American Apparel vibes yet. Like if you had pleated high-waisted pants, like you were a nerd. And that was me. And I think once I was doing laundry and I bleached my whole I got in so much trouble because they're expensive, like Catholic uniforms.
Yeah, they
And I
are.
was like, no, I hate it. And I just bleached. So not so much of a pimping out as a distraction and hoping I didn't have to wear it. And then I think I still did.
Okay. What would you say was like your worst fashion moment along the way?
Like, do you know what culottes are?
No, what is that?
They're kind of like basically high-waisted capris, but they have like maybe this much before like your ankle, kind of like it's like almost like floods, but they're not floods because they're culottes, so they're cool. And I had like these brown cotton like culottes, when like clothes starts to pill. Yeah, so I don't know what I have pictures of me wearing these like pilled like high-waisted culottes with like button ups, and it's just really bad. And then I went through a phase where I would leave all my hair curly, but then I would have China doll bangs. And then I would straighten the China doll bangs, and then I would have, and then if it rained, then my bangs would be like up here. And I dyed my hair red, but I wouldn't fix the roots. So like literally, I'd have like red from down here, curls, and then like China doll bangs, and they'd be like half red.
Damn.
And like all the pictures are gone, so no one will ever see that because I was like, no.
You made sure.
Yeah, like there's no evidence of this. Like delete that. Yeah, cause it's embarrassing. I'm like no. But yeah, it took me a while. Like I used to wear Hollister and V-necks and Ed Hardy and like
Ed Hardy,
right?
those douchebags.
I know, but I lived
Designer
in a small
clothes.
town, so I'd be like, yeah, like I want that. Was like you want to be cool. I didn't know what fashion was. And then now I see Ed Hardy, and I'm like, oh my god, like. But it's almost coming back because people love like patches and like tattoo aesthetic stuff.
Oh my gosh, that's coming back
but
again.
I don't know if it's like, I don't know if that brand, don't quote me on that. But I see, like, I don't hate it as much as I used to. So maybe next time you see me, I'm like, oh,
having a Ed Hardy.
A sweater.
Special edition.
A truck edition.
Yeah. When would you say you started to realize that you had like good fashion sense? Or the good fashion sense, like in better terms, like maybe the way you dress fit more who you, like your personality and who you are.
I think like I worked at like Urban Outfitters for a while, like in university, and not that that's an amazing company at all, but they really did like they wanted you to be as unique as possible and like you could wear all your own clothes and that type of thing. And I think I always loved the men's section, so I'd actually always be like, can I be in men's? And like I always would try to wear the men's clothes, and then I'd be wearing a full like men's outfit maybe, and then I'd have another femme or another person, a customer, be like, oh, like where did you get that outfit? Like, I want your exact outfit, that kind of thing, which maybe gave me some confidence. And then, yeah, I don't know. I've always loved clothes. Like, it's expression, right? And I think clothing is a big part of how we express our gender, just because, you know, if you're wearing a suit, you're male. If you're wearing a dress, that's kind of how it is typically with, like, hetero cis people. So I think fashion has always just been, like, an outlet for me. And the more comfortable I became, like, you know, identifying as non-binary, who I feel I am, that I'm, like, more, I can play around with things more, too. Like, maybe accessories. I'm like, oh, like, I don't really care if this presents a certain way.
Yeah.
I like how I don't care how it's presenting today. This is how I feel today. As opposed to before being like, how am I presenting all the time? I'm thinking about how do I feel most comfortable. And then, you know, you can do, like, a Jaden Smith and wear a skirt and not care because it's, like, how you feel, you know?
Yeah. True. I love that photo. It's so sick.
And then I think he has his locks. Does he have his locks in that photo?
I think, yeah,
I think he does.
Yeah.
So it's, like, perfect.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
It is. That kid's smart. So you use they pronouns, right?
Yeah.
They, them. How did you come to terms using that pronoun?
Yeah, I think.
And deciding.
Yeah, I think I just again, like, I not that I felt very uncomfortable with she her pronouns for a very long time. It wasn't like that. I think I just I was around a lot of queer people, and I don't know, I started reading books, I started just, like, thinking about how I present and who I am and how I feel most comfortable. And I think just, like, you know, when you maybe when some non-binary trans folks, when they change their name, maybe tried a few names first, you know. So I think when I realized, like, no, I do identify, I believe, like, you know, I feel and I believe that I identify as non-binary, then it just took me, okay, like, I don't know, it's so funny, like, telling people, you know, being like, okay, so now you're gonna start using they them pronouns for someone you've always used he him or she her, you know. So I don't know, I think I don't know, one day I was like, no, I just don't identify with she her anymore. And it started to feel uncomfortable for me. Like, it started to feel weird. And, like, you know, I think before I would never think about what bathroom I would go into, but then I started going to, like, you know, approaching the doors being like, like, I feel uncomfortable, when before it wasn't even a thought in my head, maybe. But then I, like, you know, I started to actually feel a certain way about it. So yeah, I don't know. I think once you know something, you have to speak your truth, or it makes you feel like you're drowning, you know?
Yeah.
So you're just like, I'm just going to start this thing, and I hope everyone else catches on, because this is how I feel now, and you need to, like, understand that it's taking me a while to get here. So yeah, I think I just started using it with like, for myself, obviously, and then I told a couple friends, and then after a while, like, people in the community who knew me, like, it came out that I started using those pronouns, and I changed my name, kind of thing, and I kind of just went from there, if that makes sense.
Do you use they them pronouns at work?
Yeah,
work?
I do. That one's hard. That one's, like, probably the hardest one. When I was working for the company I was working before, I was there with my old name, my old pronouns, and I left my position. I went to manage somewhere else, and then I came back as Chuck. And yeah, I think for the old, like, the new staff, they had no problem with it. If anything, it was jarring sometimes because old staff would use my old pronouns, or they'd use my old name, and then the new staff would had no idea. And then I would just be like, oh, now I have to, like, talk about it and, like, do this thing that I didn't want to do. Like, I think when I hired the new staff, I was very much like, my name is Chuck. I identify as non-binary. These are my pronouns. Nice to meet you. Let's have a talk now. But, you know, but the old staff, especially a lot of the older staff, they're a little bit older, things like that. So it's just also they're not really used to, I guess, different pronouns and stuff. But I do use them at work. It can just be hard. Like, I'm applying for new jobs now. And I'm like, I'm not dreading that conversation because it needs to happen and it's important.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
But I know, and, like, in the moment, it's just like, I don't want to be here right now.
Can we just skip this part? And you already know who I am, and I'm fabulous. Thank you.
Exactly.
Like,
I can do the job.
Yeah, that's all
Let's
you need to
move
know.
on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, like, no. So
Yeah.
but I think it's interesting because, like, searching for new jobs and stuff, like, Chuck, I'm like, do people think I'm gonna be some, like, white balding male? Like, I know, I'm like, oh my god, no, I'm really cute. Like, should I attach a photo? Like, I'm actually fabulous. But I think, like, for jobs I use, like, Charlie, so, like, more of a professional and kind of like is a bit androgynous, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
And then I still go by Chuck, and then yeah, I like on my email now, on the end of my like signature, I have like my preferred pronouns, so that's just out of the way. I'm like, amazing. And if you can't read, that's not my problem.
True.
So like then we'll have this conversation again, like. But yeah, I use it at work. I use it on social media. I use it with friends. I'm out to my parents now, and that's like, they don't always remember, but I remind them. So
okay.
yeah.
But are they like? Did they know what you were talking about?
No, I know. I feel
first
like
time you told them?
No. I feel like I scared them a little bit because I was just very excited. So I think I just came out as queer like last Christmas. I didn't even get into the whole. I tried to because I was seeing someone who identifies non-binary, or would prefer he him if we're going to use like she or her. They were like they them or he him. And I tried to, but I was just so excited that I was like non-binary and like queer and like POC and like BIPOC. I just went so in.
Oh, damn.
And like my adopted parents are white, so they're just, and like, you know, hetero, so they're just kind of like, what's BIPOC? Can I be BIPOC? Like it was very hard, you know, it was a hard conversation. So, and that was very quick and abrupt. And then we didn't talk for quite a long time because it was a very awkward conversation for me, and I didn't think it went as well. And I don't think anyone's coming out really goes well, or at least mine didn't. So
mine didn't.
No, it's hard.
Yeah.
So, and now we talk, and like my mom's kind of like, yeah, okay, like she's listening. My dad, like, still some work to be done, I think. But my mom is very much like, yeah, like, okay, like maybe doesn't understand it, but is trying, and like, she'll catch herself saying my government name, and she'll like correct herself, or you know, she'll like be interested in people that I'm seeing, even if she doesn't understand like open relationships. She'll be like, that's good for you. Like,
that's good for you.
Yeah, like,
whenever someone says that's good for you, they don't really mean that's good for you.
I know. I'm like, yeah, goodbye. I'm like, yeah, it is amazing, isn't it? Like, but like she's trying and she's listening, you know. I think that's the biggest part. Like,
yeah.
You don't have to be in my open relationships. That's fine, Mom. But you can like say that from afar. That's okay.
Yeah.
At least you're listening, you know.
Yeah, very true. So a lot of, cause like you know how like the trans community is more out in the open now. People are more aware of us.
Yeah.
So what I've been seeing a lot is that it's like a trend now, and like being non-binary, and like gender fluid is a trend. Yeah. Do you feel like it is?
No, I think it's hard. I think being gay and being queer is a trend. I think it's a hot topic issue because like, you know, all the stuff happening in the government and different people being elected, and you know, the fact that trans rights and gay rights are always going to be contested, or someone's going to have an issue with them. So I think that is more out in the open, and so maybe more people are comfortable coming out and talking. Think that that's maybe a trend, but I think also like non-binary people and people who have existed outside of you know, regular binary codes have always existed, you know, and trans folks have always existed, and you know, in different cultures, people have talked about it, there's writing on it, like it's always been around. I think maybe now it's easier for people to come out. Like, I don't know if I can really comment on if it's a trend or not, because I think it's still hard to come out nowadays. But I think definitely, like, there's a lot more acceptance. And, you know, trans and, like, queer and non-binary, maybe they're hot button words, like, to use on social media and to, like, get followers. Like, I think that's definitely true. Like, there's a lot more people rallying behind those terms.
Clickbait or like hashtags.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Like even like the GIFs on Instagram. I love the non-binary GIFs. Like, don't take them away from me. I love them. But the fact that there's even like, you know, GIFs that say like non-binary and all my non-binary finery, like obviously it's a thing. Like
yeah.
But I don't know. Like I'm okay with it being a trend if it means it's safer. You know, I don't want anyone just to be just there, and then 2 years later you're like, you're actually not a trend. That's different, you know. Yeah. But I'm like, whatever, you can be a trend as long as if it's going to be safer. Then I don't know if that actually equates to that, to be honest. I don't think it does. But if it would make it safer, then I'm like, whatever, you can be a trend for now. If it means I can leave my house and not feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You know?
Truly.
It brings awareness, I guess.
Do you feel like when you tell someone that you're like non-binary, do you feel like you have to prove it, or we're past that in society?
No, I think it depends. I think if I'm looking very like femme, then they're like, what? Why? What's the difference? Or like how? Or like why are you saying that? You know, like I think it depends. I think honestly it depends on like who I'm around. If it's other queer people, like in my experience, other BIPOC queer people that I've been with, so Black, Indigenous people of color, like other BIPOC people, I feel like we've all gone through enough. So no one's sitting there being like, Chuck, what do you look like today? You know, they're not asking me to defend myself.
Yeah.
But I think when I do get into more cis heteronormative spaces, maybe with people that I've always known, if I look like if I'm not looking like, you know, masculine Chuck or androgynous Chuck that day, it can be like, well, what's the difference? Like, why do you need to do this extra thing? You look the same, you know, that kind of vibe.
Yeah.
So I think it depends, but I think I've always looked different and I always dress different and I'm wearing faux fur when other people aren't and I'm doing like, you know, silly outfit stuff. So I'm like, I'm not here to prove anything for you. So if you don't like it, that sucks. Like, I don't know, I'm gonna go back about my life. Like, if you want to hang out and have cool outfits together, let's do that. Like, I'm more interested. But yeah, I think it depends. Queer circles I found to be very accepting, and not that there's not cishet people that aren't accepting, but I feel like if they can't put you in a box, they're like, why? You know, like they want to like understand you, and the easiest way to understand is if you look this way, you're this way, and if you look this way, you're that way. Yeah. And if you're androgynous, maybe we understand you a bit because like you fit the part. But if you're kind of all over the place, and it can be like, why?
Yeah, I know. It's I feel like as a society, I feel like we're slowly moving out of the binary, but it's still like very prominent and still like the ideal.
Depends, yeah, where you are and who you're with, and I think I was even talking to someone the other day. It's weird that like for if I'm identifying people, like the Miss and Mrs. and like that how men only have one. It doesn't matter if they're married. It doesn't matter if someone died. You know what I mean? There's nothing like matters.
50. Because I like where I work too. Like there's like Miss, Mrs. I'm like how many salutations do you need?
You literally none. It doesn't make any sense. And then I'm like, where do I fall? I'm like, I just leave it. I'm like, circle it ? Like I don't know what you want me to do here. Is there nothing? Like, yeah. So I don't. It's weird.
No, I know. And I also hate like when like I'm out and then like the customer service representative are just like, oh, how are you doing, ma'am?
Or, I know.
It's like why do you have to use that? Like it's 2018. You don't have
like
to say Mr. or ma'am.
Retail, ma'am is or Miss. I always
Miss,
get Miss Hopper. I'm like, get out of here. I'm like, who is that? I don't know her. Stop it.
She doesn't go here.
She doesn't go here. Yeah. Or usually I'll go up to now if it's like a bank, I'll be like, oh, like, do you use preferred names? And usually they're like, no. And I'm like, oh, cool. I go by Chuck. Like, I'll just tell them kind of thing. I'm not going to be like, oh, here's a mini lesson. But I'd be like, just don't, like, they don't call it my whole first name. Or, like, you put your card in. They're like,
thank you.
Like,
I know.
No.
Ooh, I dread the bank, yo.
I'm like, no. I'm like, the one reason I need to change my ID is just the bank always being, like, my full name. And I'm like, no.
And they say it so loud, too, with it. I'm just like, why you have to tell my government name so loud?
I know.
It's like, I get you're trying to be nice and all, but, like,
and I guess a lot of people don't care. That's the funny thing. Like, once you're queer, you experience maybe all these things that you're like, oh my God, everyday life is hell. And other people are like, yeah, say my whole name. I'm like, stop it. Just don't say anything. I put it in, the pin is right. Just give me my money.
Exactly. Oh, man. Those are the worst. So you mentioned that you're an artist. Do you feel like your art developed as your queerness developed as well?
Yeah, I would say I think I definitely like I think what I realized with art is if you're blocked in any way, like if you're not being true to yourself in any way, usually the art won't come out. So like there's been times when I've been dating someone and maybe I know it's gonna end and I'm like, no, but I'm in denial. So then I don't write that poem because the poem is too truthful. Okay. And then I'm blocked up and I'm grumpy for like a week. I'm like, oh my God, like I'm just so angry. And then you finally like, I'm like, okay, whatever, I'm gonna write the poem because I need to get this like out now. And then I write the poem and then I'm able to feel like really, I feel unblocked and I feel really true to myself. So I think that coming out as non-binary this year, it was funny because I came out as non-binary and then I also came out, so I changed my, like I had a government name, so now I use my preferred name, which is Chuck. And then I also had my stage name. So at the same time, I did like 2 big name changes.
Okay.
Which is really funny, I think. And yeah, I think some people maybe think that Soft Honey could be like a femme, like alter ego almost, because it's like a little. When I first started performing, it was like very like demi girl kind of vibes with the outfits. Like I would still wear, like now I barely have a couple dresses. I just don't feel comfortable in them anymore. I put them on and I'm like, this is very weird. But when I first started performing, it was like mini skirts and like go-go heels and like that kind of vibe. And maybe I wouldn't wear that to my everyday stuff. But I think that with my name change and the content and all that kind of stuff, yeah, I think my poetry definitely like it helped me become comfortable enough to be who I am. And usually when I go on stage now, I have a little blurb of like, oh, like my name is Soft Honey. Call me Chuck outside of this. I'll tell them my pronouns. I'll be like, oh, like if you get them wrong, I won't fight you, but I will correct you. Like I let them know that kind of stuff. So yeah, I think it definitely helped me just maybe talk about what I was experiencing. And I think it goes hand in hand. Like I said, if I'm blocked in my real life, then my poetry's probably going to be shit because I'm not actually saying what I want to be saying. I'm like, oh, I can't say
You're holding back.
Yeah, and then I'm like, oh, that's a really bad poem, and it's not fire. And then the moment that like I'm actually honest with myself, so I don't think if I was honest, then I couldn't write. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel you on that honestly, because like whenever I'm not being honest with myself, like the art that I make is like total shit. I'm just like So I just take a step back and I try to figure myself out before I do anything.
Yeah, to see how you feel. Like
yeah,
I think there'll be poems where I'm like, I know what I want to say, but until I actually know, like, till I get to the heart of it, the verses will be so bad. I'll be like researching, asking other people, like, what do you think this means? And like, what? And I'm like, my poems will be so bad because I have no idea, you know? And then the moment that like, okay, I'm being honest now, then at least a little bit of clarity comes through, and you can like, you have the words to say how you feel.
Yeah, no, I feel you. So how would you compare your art that you made, like, let's say 10 years? No, that's too far back. 5 years ago.
5 years ago.
Compared to now.
Yeah. I think I did my art in secret, like maybe 5 years ago. Like I was very, maybe I wouldn't call myself an artist. I wasn't like I wasn't confident or comfortable in that. And I think, not that I make art for other people now, but I think that I really love being able to like, share my experiences in a way that everyone else can also maybe relate to. And in the past, I think in the beginning, I was just beginning. I was just getting like thoughts out of my head, They weren't maybe so concise. And then now I think, I'm a lot more honest with myself. So I'm actually able to write things a lot more honestly. And before, if anyone found my notebook, I would like, what are you doing? And like close the notebook and it'd be so drama. My face would be red.
Dramatic.
Yeah.
Like
those
don't teenagers scene in those like rom-coms.
Yeah. Like, how dare you? Like, no one touch me. I'd be so like, don't look at my sketches. Like, I'd be so angry and like hot and bothered. Like, it was embarrassing for me. And now, like, if someone looks at my sketchbook or my notebook, I'm like, like a little bit embarrassed maybe, but I'm also like, whatever. Like, so I'm more confident in myself and I can like take a joke now. And if someone grabbed my notebook and run away, I'm not gonna like beat them up. Whereas before I'd be like, it's for friendships canceled. But,
oh damn, it was that deep.
Yeah. I was like, it's a secret. And now I'm like, oh, like I want people to see my art, right? Like that's the difference. Before it was just for me. And now it's for me. And then if it helps someone else, when someone's like, oh, that poem really like helped, I'm like, oh my God, I'm really happy about that.
Have you had like one of those experiences where maybe someone like messaged you or came up to you in real life?
Yeah, I'm like really bad at reacting to that kind of stuff. Like I'm just
how do you feel?
It feels good, but I don't know. You never know what to say, right? Because I feel like usually it's after a show and like I had all that energy and like obviously it's for me and it's for other people. But then when someone's like, oh, like it's different. If they're like, oh, that wordplay was really good, the Leo in me is like amazing. Like I'm like, oh, thank you, caught that. Like that's different. But if someone's like, oh, like that really like was a message I needed to hear tonight, and like I didn't, then I'm like I just go into myself and I'm like, oh, thank you, that's amazing, like happy. But I'm so like, I'm still a human, so I get all like nervous. But it feels good. Like I guess it's really nice when someone's able to like, I don't know. A lot of the times, maybe I've been performing a poem for like 6 months, so then. I don't feel the same way I felt when I first wrote it. When I first wrote it, maybe I'm fired and it's hot and like I'm actually going through the emotions as I'm doing each poem. And then in 6 months, I don't feel that way anymore. So when I hear that someone else is able to like, ignite something in them that's freshly new, maybe they just went through a breakup or maybe they lost someone in their family or they just came out and a poem connected with them kind of thing. It feels really nice. Like it reminds me why I'm doing what I'm doing, like why I'm sharing it. Maybe not. I would do it regardless if no one wanted to listen.
Yeah.
But it reminds me of maybe why I'm sharing it with other people.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I feel like that. I feel the same way about music too.
Yeah.
It's like poem and music. I feel like it's a universal.
They are.
Like,
They're like you end up doing one or the other. Like I feel like I'm going into music. Maybe you'll come into poetry. Like it happens. You're like you can't stop it. I feel like.
I know. So do you mind performing a piece?
Yeah, I can do. I'll do. Maybe okay. Well, I know we decided I was gonna do one. We already decided on one. But do you want to hear like? So I have do
whatever you want to do. It's your time.
Okay. We'll see how this one goes. I'll do this one. It's called This Love, and I wrote it in the summer, and it was just maybe I think I learned all about boundaries, like a lot in relationships, like anyone, like friendships or romantic things like that. I think I grew up with the idea that like ride or die is like the ultimate, like you'll be there like for the person regardless, and like love should have no bounds. But I'm like, that's not true. Like, like it should have bounds, and there should be conditions. Not that like, you buy me a car, I don't love you. That's crazy. But that's a little
reasonable.
Yeah, but if someone's like, if like you're not working, you're fighting a lot, or if there is abuse, or that kind of stuff, like there should be bounds to stuff. Like. So I think I wrote this poem just about realizing that sometimes like boundaries are good, and if it's not working, then it's not working. And then I added a little bit of a Lauryn Hill cover to it because I just love Lauryn Hill and she's amazing. And then at the same time I wrote this poem, Drake came out with that. What's that?
Which one?
What's the one with Lauryn Hill? It's like something.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Some annoying high pitch. Vocal in the background.
That's all I know. He sampled that, and I was like, I'm like, wow, we're on the same way, but I'm better. So it's different. It's more a deep poem than that. But anyway, so I guess I'll just do that poem. And then usually I use a loop pedal. So in the background, I would have like a little thing that would just go like, ooh, 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 ooh. And then, so that would go in the background. And then I'd loop on top of that. I would loop a little thing that just says, do you love me? And then that would like go on a loop in the background. Okay. So one's called This Love. If this love is a ruse, let me know. If this love is a ruse, let me go. We can't argue no more, it's not right. Oh, I try as I might, oh, I try. Maybe, my baby, I'm just not the right guy. I kiss you good morning and good night. I tell you that you're a sight for sore eyes. I feel that I've met you for a purpose, but I'll be earnest. If this was our season, if love causes people's hearts to change without reason, baby, should I get to the grieving? Is love leaving us, babe? I can whisper that I want you, but I can't force you to stay. So if this love is a ruse, just let me know. If this love is a ruse, just let me go, 'cause I want to be in love so bad it hurts. And I know I've loved and lost, and it's the worst, so I want to be in love. And you see, this could all be so simple, but you want to make it hard. And loving you is like a battle where we both end up with scars. Baby, tell me, who do I have to be to gain some reciprocity? 'Cause no one loves you more than me, and no one ever will. Is this just some silly game you play that forces you to act this way? That forces you to scream my name and then pretend that you can't stay? Baby, tell me, who do I have to be to gain some reciprocity? 'Cause no one loves you more than me, and no one ever will. And no matter how we seem to grow, you always seem to let me know that it ain't working. No, it ain't working. And when I try to walk away, you hurt yourself to make me stay. Baby, this is crazy. This is crazy. How do I explain myself? I keep letting you back in. As painful as this thing has been, I just can't be with no one else. See, I know what we've got to do, baby. You let go and I'll let go too. 'Cause no one's hurt me more than you, and no one ever will. Thank you.
That was dope.
Thanks.
We'll add that.
Thank you. Yeah, I love Lauryn Hill, and that one's a really good one.
Yeah.
Like the whole album, X Factor. I'm like,
that song though, like the
I
song
know.
X Factor too.
It's so good.
Ooh.
Yeah, I get you,
Yeah.
because you're like, oh my god, like you love, like
Yeah.
you know, love it. Sometimes isn't enough, which is like sad, but it's also like
the truth.
it's the truth. Like you have
Yeah.
to do so. You have to also care about someone, and like
There's work that's involved, not only love.
yeah, love is not enough. No.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, that was a sad poem, but it's good. I like that poem.
No,
I don't
I
feel
like
like
it
that
too.
anymore. So at least it's nice now.
Yeah.
Now it's just like, oh, I love you, Lauryn Hill. Okay, this is my ode to you. Okay.
Yeah. So near the end of my podcast, I asked my guests well, the segment is called Queer
I know.
Queer Awkward Moments.
This
And
is
I
my
asked
awkward
them-
moment.
I asked my guests about their awkward moments. So I'll go first.
Thank gosh.
Let's see.
I'm listening, but also thinking.
Yeah. This happened today. I wouldn't say like it's awkward for me.
Okay.
Because I hate when people say my government name out loud.
Oh.
So I lost I go to the gym and I lost the key, the thing that you scan at the entrance.
The fact that you went to the gym today, firstly,
Yeah.
amazing.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
I lost the thing to scan, so I was just like, God, oh my gosh! I knew it that I have to go there, and I have to say my name.
Mhm.
Then they have to look for it, and they have to replace it. So I have to go through this whole thing. So I was preparing myself mentally. It made me almost not go to the gym, but I'm like, no, we have to do this. So I went there. Then I was like, yeah, my name is this and this. I have to spell it out. And then the guy couldn't find it. So he's making me repeat it again and again. And I'm just like, damn. And then so he eventually finds it and he's just like, oh. And then he says it out loud. And then there was another person that was standing there. So I was just like, oh God. And it's a guy too. And I'm just like, oh no. Because now I have to go into the men's locker room.
No.
And then it's just there. And then he's just like, so then when he finally found me, he was so ecstatic. So he said it out loud, my government name, fully, my first, middle name, last name. I'm just
I'm laughing, but it's sad.
yeah, out loud. I'm just like, yeah, that's me. So that was an awkward moment for me.
Okay. I'm trying to think. Well, okay, I'll just do a similar awkward moment to that. I was at maybe Long and McQuaid a couple weeks ago, and I love Long and McQuaid actually because they'll use your preferred names. I was like, can I use a preferred name on my account?
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, yeah. However, I don't know what I looked like that day, but I didn't look like a Chuck apparently. So I went into Long and McQuaid and they had to look up my account and they used your phone number. And I gave him my phone number, and then it was taking a long time. And then he was like, the first 3 digits. I gave him the first 3 digits. And he was like, the last 3 digits. And obviously I guess he was finding me, but it said Chuck.
Yeah,
he just kept
he
going.
didn't make the
Yeah.
connection.
He was like, the first 3 digits, the fourth 3 digits. I'm having the hardest time. This is an older white man too. So having the hardest time. And at one point I was like, yeah, it should say Chuck. And then he was like, oh, okay, oh. And I guess he kept finding me, but he couldn't. And then I was there for so long that I'm like, this never happens to me. I'm here often. And then I finally was just like, yeah, so it should say Chuck. And then he was like, oh, okay, we found you. Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the end of the world because
no, yeah.
I think they deleted. I think they deleted my government name. Thank God, so I can adjust my Chuck. The only reason I know that is because sometimes when I get late to fees, if I forget to drop off my stuff, they send me mail to my house. So it's actually very validating to not pay on time. Because it's my one piece of mail.
Yeah.
I'm
One
like,
piece of
Chuck,
mail that
yeah. I'm like, it's fine. Keep sending me late. I'll nail those just because I love my name on it.
Yeah.
But that was my awkward thing where I had to literally be like, so Chuck. And then he was like, shook, but then it was done. Because how many times are you going to ask me my number? Why wouldn't once he be like, oh, is it for, he never once was like, oh, is it for Chuck? He just assumed that couldn't be me. Which I understand, but
yeah.
awkward.
I know, those situations are the worst, let me tell you. So, thanks for, coming in my space.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It was fun.
I really like the poem you read.
Thank
I'm pretty
you.
sure a lot of people can identify with that.
Yeah. Oh, thanks. Yeah. This is the nervous part. See, like, how do you respond? And this is how I respond.
It's okay.
But thank you so much. I appreciate it.
So, is there anywhere that people can find you?
Yeah, thank you. Oh my God, plugging. Like, I always forget. Like, half the point. You're like, plug yourself. I'm right now mainly just on, like, Instagram or Facebook. So, Instagram, I am soft. So, SOFT. Honey, HONEY, and then period poetry, because I couldn't get it all together because it's hard out here. And then like for business inquiries and stuff, my email is on my social media. And then I'm also can be found at Crystal Light Collective on Instagram as well. So spelling that. So Crystal, CRY. Crystal. Oh my God, I can't even spell today. Cut this out. No, I'm just kidding. Crystal Light Collective. You can just go on my regular page and then you can find Crystal Light.
Or you can just go into Google and write Crystal and it will autocorrect.
And then Light Collective. No, I have to spell it now because people are going to think I'm illiterate. What is it? CRYSTAL. Oh my gosh. And then Light, LIGHT. And then Collective, COLLCTIVE. Woo! Crystal Light Collective. And then that's all my plugs, so I don't have to spell anymore. But yeah, I can be found on social media. It's basically just Instagram for the moment.
All right. So thanks for tuning in. And until next time, stay awkward.